Heyo everybody, Haku here, and I'm going to be reviewing 7 more anime that I watched recently. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go through each of these. I'm going to give some general thoughts, some general information as well about all of them, talk a bit about the production and everything, give you my favorite character, waifu, and relationship for each. And yeah, it's just going to be a general review. I'm going to try not to be particularly spoilery. If you want to use these as recommendations for things that you might be interested in watching, then that would be, nice. Or if you want to just hear me talk about something that you've already watched, that's also a good thing. So for this one specifically, I will talk about, sorry if I look over and refer to my notes here to try to remember all the titles, we got Kuma Bear Season 1, Bleach Sennen Kessenhen, or Thousand Year Blood War Part 1, then we have BOFURI Season 1, Mushoku Tensei Season 1 Part 1, KonoSuba Season 1, plus the OVAs. Tensei Shitara Slime Datteken Season 2 Part 1, or TenSura, that time I was reincarnated as a slime, Season 2 Part 1, and then Musume B&W no Chikai. Those are the 7 we're going to get into. I don't want to waste too much of your time with a super crazy long intro, so let's just start talking about the first of these. We're kicking this off with Kuma Bear Season 1, and if the name is a little bit weird in English, it's because in Japanese they use Kuma in, I forget the order, but it's like in katakana, then hiragana, then kanji, and then just the English bear. This is Season 1. I'm excited to get to Season 2. I would like to, I'd like to watch that as part of my 2023 stuff once I start going through the 2023 anime, but this is based on a light novel. It's animated by EMT Squared. The general idea of it is it's about a 15-year-old who's a fan of a VR MMO, and she wakes up in the world of the game. A setup that you've probably seen plenty before. The gimmick to this one is that she has OP bear-shaped equipment and magic, and it's basically like the magic is OP, so long as she has to make it bear-shaped. It's very cute, it's very chill, it's slow. There's some light city building elements. Not really to the level of something like TenSura, but there's a little bit of that in there. I would say it is your very typical slice of life type of isekai. It's that kind. So there aren't too many characters, but the characters that are there I like. I generally liked this. I had fun with it. I thought it was a nice, like a B, like a 7 out of 10 kind of anime. Just one of those fun, chill, comfy watches. It isn't something that's gonna blow you away or be super dramatic or anything. There is some questionable, like Yuri, Girls Love, Shoujo Ai stuff in there, where they kind of play around with the idea of it a bit between Yuna and Fina, and I don't want to spoil anything. They play around with the idea a bit, but they never really fully lean into it, and I think I would have enjoyed the series even more if they had just said, okay, we're gonna lean into this. Now, the thing is, they made Fina 9 years old, even though she doesn't look that different from Yuna, who's 15, so that is a big difference, and I think that's part of the reason why they don't, like, fully lean into it, but the fact that they even somewhat lean into it is like, okay, if you're gonna somewhat lean into it, why not go all the way? Like, they could have made Fina at least 12, and that wouldn't have been that big of a difference. It was weird, I think, when they said that she was like 9 or something, because she really doesn't look that much younger than Yuna particularly, so it's like, I don't know, I kind of wish that maybe they had just said she was 12 instead of 9, and maybe they had just leaned more into that relationship. I think that would have made me enjoy the series even more. As far as production quality goes, again, it's just something that's solid. I didn't think that anything was bad, but it's also nothing that's super special. It's nothing that's really gonna blow you away for sure. I would say the designs are simple, but I like them. The opening is pretty fun. I really like the ending, though. The ending is super cute. As far as character-waifu relationship, I think my favorite character was Fina. I really liked Fina. I thought that her journey and stuff, and the stuff with her family, was good. As far as waifu goes, I don't know. It's like Yuna, maybe. It's like you say anime girl in like a cute bear onesie, and it's like, okay, there is some design potential there, but I ended up being a little bit more meh on Yuna's design than I thought I'd be. Maybe Atla. I really don't know. As far as relationship goes, it's definitely Yuna and Fina for sure. I think their relationship was really good. When they did start leaning into the Yuri Shoujo Ai stuff, I was like, okay, hold on, I'm paying attention. And I just kind of want more of that relationship. But yeah, overall, those are my thoughts on Kuma Bear Season 1. I will get to Season 2 eventually when I do the 2023 stuff. And I didn't give scores in my last review of 7. The meaning, like back when I did consistent anime reviews in like 2016, 2017, maybe 2018 even, I would always give like kind of meaningless number scores that really didn't age super well. I don't know if I should still do that anymore. So take in mind that whatever scores I might just throw out off the top of my head are kind of meaningless and probably won't age that well. I'll give it 7 bears out of 10. Next up is Bleach Sennen Kessenhen, or Thousand Year Blood War Part 1. It's based on a manga, it's by Studio Pierrot, and man did Studio Pierrot, they went all out with this one. The direction here, the animation, the production quality is the highlight. But I've always been a Bleach guy. When it comes to Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, I've read, I've watched, but I've always been a Bleach guy. Now, I will say that when it comes to Bleach, the story's not the best. The story's never really been the highlight, but I love the power system. I love the world. I really enjoy the style. Bleach just drips this style that the other, like, main popular shonen just don't. It just has so much style to it. I love it. But I remember that reading this arc back weekly, I was a part of a bunch of Bleach fan sites and everything. Everybody was kind of pretty negative about it, including me. I remember reading it week to week and being like, wow, this kind of sucks week to week most of the time. So the story was never all that great to me, but the anime is changing a bit. Probably for the better. So I don't think the story is going to be the highlight here, but oh boy, the production quality is insane. This looked visually nuts, and Bleach has always had incredible music. The OST has always been great, and continued to be insanely great. The highlight, though, is just the direction. The way that everything looked very cinematic, and the way they were able to take all of these very good individual parts and bring them together to make a very good whole. I think that all of that was really good. There were a lot of amazing aspects to this, and even for just you know, again, I said you're not going to get as much out of it story-wise as even you would. It hurts me to say this, but even out of like early Naruto or out of One Piece, you're not going to get as much story-wise. You're going to get a lot more just style-wise. Just I feel like enjoyment-wise, for me, Bleach is like the most enjoyable of the big three when it comes to this type of just long-running shonen. And I am a die-hard lover of long-running shonen. As far as favorite characters go, overall for the series as a whole, Shinji's my favorite character. But if we're looking, and I also really like Soifan, but if we're looking specifically at these, 12, 13 episodes that we got, I would say that my favorite from these is Yamamoto. Yamamoto is a character that before this to me was always just kind of boring. He was always just kind of there, but he really came alive here, which is a little ironic to say, but I won't spoil anything. Yamamoto was really great here. Also, Yuhabaha, who I literally never knew how to pronounce. I always looked at it and it makes me wonder, what are they doing with the English translation or whatever? Because I was always like, Yoak? Like, is that his name? That's like Yoak. That's what I always thought, and it's Yuhabaha. And I wonder, now that I've heard it pronounced, it made me think, oh, is it a reference, since he is very son of the Soul King? There's some definite, like, you know, Judeo-Christian religion stuff going on there in terms of the reference. So is it supposed to be like a, what is it, tetragrammaton? Like the 4 letters YHWH type thing, but he's like YHBH. Is it kind of a reference to that, and that's why his name is like that? Either way, I don't know why they made it YWACH in the English translation. That's a really weird thing to do for Yuhabaha. So yeah, no clue. But Yuhabaha, I always thought that he was kind of a boring final villain, kind of a who cares kind of villain. He wasn't that great, but that has changed a lot just in the anime so far. I am loving him a lot more as a villain in the anime than I ever did in the manga. As far as waifu goes, so character, specifically here Yamamoto, as far as waifu goes, Yuzu, I always liked growing up watching Bleach. Soifan, again, really great, one of my favorite characters. I don't even think we saw Giselle here in part 1, so I can't count Giselle. I'm gonna go for Soifan, I guess, just because she was around. Even then, we didn't get to see too much. And as far as relationships go, I think the relationship between Yamamoto and Yuhabaha was the best. Just this antagonistic relationship going back over 1,000 years, I thought was really well done. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about Bleach. Oh yeah, I have to think of a score. This is like a 9. 9 questionable Nazi references out of 10. Like, Kyuge Opie was another character who I barely remembered from the manga. But the voice acting and everything, Opie was like really good here. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about Bleach. You are going to have to forgive me as I read this title. Iitai no wa iya nanode bougyo ryoku ni kyokufuri shitai to omoimasu. Or BOFURI, I don't want to get hurt so I'll max out my defense. Season 1. We get Season 2 in 2023. That's why I'm watching a lot of these Season 1s. It's based on a light novel. It's animated by Silverlink. This I like. This is kind of different. It's about a girl who gets into a VR MMO game, and not gets into as in like she's trapped there and if you die in the game you die in real life. No, she just like starts playing it more with friends, builds friendships within the MMO, and I want to see more of the characters' IRL lives. I think that Kaede is a really fun main character. Like, she is such a fun main character, and I enjoy the rest of the cast too. I think the best thing is that it, to me, just really captures that feeling of just playing an MMO with friends. So I think that that's what it does, like, really, 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 really well. The stakes and the drama involved are appropriate to that. Where it's like, you watch plenty of sports anime, and there are a lot of good sports anime where it's like, the stakes aren't that the world's going to end, the stakes aren't some grand invading army or anything, but you still, like, really care about what's going on. The stakes are just appropriate to the situation, and that's it here. Again, it's not like you die in the game, you die in real life or anything, but you care about these characters. You want the main character's guild to win a guild competition. Like, I think it's all very good. It's fun and chill, but despite being like not super high stakes, I would say still it's worth giving a chance. It's really good. The production quality is shockingly good. Like, usually for the lower end, don't really blow up and get super popular kind of, not really isekai, but these types of anime, usually the production quality is kind of just mid-level, but I think that this looks really nice a lot of the time, and it sounds really nice. The OST is very good. There's one they always play, like, when we're having just montages of them grinding or going through an area or something, that I think is really good. I really like the pacing here too. There's always stuff happening, always stuff going on. I think the opening and ending are both good. They're not incredible. Again, they didn't blow me away or anything, but I think they're both good. My favorite character, I am going to say, is the main character, Maple or Kaede. I think she is really, really good. Favorite waifu? I don't know. I would say Sally, I guess, though Maple and Ease are also great. But yeah, I would just say Sally. I think that's good. Best relationship, Maple and Sally. Very easy for that one. I think everything that goes on with them is really good. But just the general full, like, main characters guild, I think, is really, really good. So again, another very good anime. Oh gosh, if I was going to give this a score, 7.5, I don't know, 8 feels like a lot. I really did enjoy it a lot. 8 just feels really high. Again, these numbers are meaningless, so it doesn't really matter anyway. 7.5 flying turtles out of 10. And next up we have Mushoku Tensei Isekai Ittara Honkidas, or Jobless Reincarnation, Season 1, Part 1. I get to watch Part 2 after this still, and the OVA. So yeah, it's based on a light novel. It's adapted by Studio Bind, I would assume. So this is one where I try to mention, if I have a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of info going into the anime, I have read ahead for this one. So I know some things, like, I've read. So I'm watching the anime. It's about a guy who gets reincarnated, giving him a second chance at life. And that's really the big thing, getting reincarnated into a fantasy world. And the focus on this incarnation, there are a lot that are just strictly power fantasies, not really a lot's going on too deep in the plot. But this one is specifically about getting a second chance at life. So I have read a bit. I will say that this is great. It is a great series. A lot of people say it's one of the best ever. I don't know if I'd go that big. I think it's great, but I personally am not the hugest fan. Personally, it doesn't hit for me that hard. That's how I would describe it. I just do think that, again, I'm not spoiling things, but as things go on in the future, I think there's some weird decisions in the writing made here and there. I think I'll talk a little bit about that later, but there are some weird decisions. And the thing is, while I'm not the hugest personal fan, I do also think that this show gets a lot of criticism that's for brain dead reasons. Like, there was something going around a while back where somebody had an excerpt from one of the light novels or something, where it was like, Rudy is talking and he's like, so yeah, back when I was in my previous life, it was my parents' funeral or something like that, and I just stayed home and jerked it to lolly porn, or I think it might have been like actual in-universe children in one version of the story. So again, not a great guy. And then he's like, and then my brothers came and beat the hell out of me, smashed my PC and all of this. And he's like, and what's the problem? He's like, what's the problem? It's not like I did anything that bad. And, you know, people are saying, oh, this is awful that this isn't a story. And here's the thing. My opinion, for any kind of story like this, you shouldn't need a light novel or a anime or a video game, anything like that. You shouldn't have to like rely on something like this to tell you that bad things are bad. If you need a video game or something to tell you that, say, if you need it to tell you don't do incest, you might already be cooked. If you need something to tell you, hey, don't steal. If you need something to tell you, hey, don't be a bigot. If you need something to tell you that, it might already be too late for you. Like that's not good. What you should, let me put on my, oh god, I hate these kind of people. My critical reading cap for a second. I think what you should get from something like that, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because it's very important to the overall themes of Mushoku Tensei, what you should get from that passage that I just kind of paraphrased there is A, Rudy is not a great guy. Rudy is, at least in the past, you know, the whole thing is about him trying to grow. The thing is, not a great guy. Kind of, at the very least, disrespectful and not cool. Like, not a great guy. Second thing you should take from it, what he gets in life isn't necessarily equivalent to the harm he does. Like, he gets treated like shit. So it's like, he's not a great guy, but he also gets treated like shit by the people around him. And the most important thing, tying those two things together and becoming its own third thing, the most important thing that you should get from that, and kind of the most important thing to take from this first part of the story to me, is he doesn't understand why. Like that line at the end, he doesn't get why what he did was wrong, or why people react in the way that they do. And that's a big part of him learning here, where we spend pretty much this whole time in his childhood for this first core here. It's very, very important to his story that he doesn't even know why he's doing things wrong. And he's learning throughout this second life, throughout him getting a second chance to go through these experiences, he's kind of being able to learn and analyze where he went wrong and what he was doing wrong and try to do better in the future. And I think that's a huge part of the story. Now then, we run into the issue where criticism is still fair to have, because to be fair, the morality here is often very confusing. There's so many times in Mushoku Tensei where a character does something and then something bad happens, or it's pointed out by Rudius or by the author, and they're like, okay, this is bad, and this bad thing happens to this person because they did this bad thing. But then somebody else will do it, and there will just be no mention of it being bad. And again, you don't need stories to tell you that things are bad, but at the same time, the morality, even within the own universe, is kind of, there are some hypocritical moments, and there are some questionable moments. So again, it's one of those things where I think it is very fair to criticize it. I think there are tons of things that you can very easily criticize about Mushoku Tensei. There are a lot of things that I don't think are great, that I don't personally identify with that much, but a lot of the criticism that it gets isn't the fair criticism that you could have right there to levy at it, but it's kind of just unfair criticism that it's like you don't even get. I don't even know if you get the series that you're watching or reading. Production-wise, it's pretty visually gorgeous. Like, it looks really nice. I think it has really nice direction. They always try to make things look really cinematic in a nice way, and I hate to keep throwing out that term, but I don't really know how else to say it when they're really taking chances with the direction, or not even taking chances, but giving us unique shots, making things look and be framed a little differently instead of just a very generic shot after shot after shot. And to be fair again, there are a lot of really weird close-ups. Like, we'll be really close up on a character's face sometimes, and it's not the best looking, but even in those moments, I'm like, hey, at least they're trying something. I feel like, at least in those situations, I'm like, hey, they tried something a little different, so at least they're doing something other than just being generic. I think the OST is very nice. I think the pacing, honestly, is a little hit and miss. The ending is very, very, very good. Not like the overall ending, but the ED. There isn't really an opening. And as far as the typical character-waifu relationship, favorite character, Ghislaine. Favorite waifu, Ghislaine. Favorite relationship, Ghislaine. And Eris. So, yeah, easy sweep. Ghislaine, best in every category. Not even close. Not even any sort of competition whatsoever. I do think if you thought that, if you really liked Rudius and Eris's relationship, it's like, okay, fair enough. If you wanted to go the lolly route and you're like, hey, I like Eris better than Ghislaine. Okay, fair enough. Go for it. I don't really get the love for Sylvie yet, but hey, yeah, Ghislaine for me, easily the best in all of these categories. And as a score, I don't know, I'd give it like a 9, maybe an 8.5. No, I don't know. I'm caught between 8.5 and 9 because there are some scenes that are a little and some of the pacing's a little I'll go 8.5 actually. 8.5 muscular beast women. I don't know, out of 10. Next up is KonoSubarashi Sekai ni Shukufugo wo, or God's Blessing on This Wonderful World, or just KonoSuba. Season 1, plus the OVA. And it's based on a light novel. It's adapted by Studio Dean. It's really good. I've heard a lot about it for years. For years. Like, I knew most of the characters' names going into this. Most of them, not all, I don't think. But I've been hearing about it for years. Mostly, though, I've been hearing about KonoSuba 2. It feels like everybody has talked about KonoSuba 2 for a while, so I'm excited to get to that. It's an isekai where the main character takes the goddess who's reincarnating him, takes her with him. It's a full comedy so far. I think it's very funny. I think the characters are really, really enjoyable. I wonder if we're going to move on past where we are now, if it's going to, if we're going to get more of an adventure in the future, or if it is just going to continue to be a bit of a slice of life comedy, because that's kind of what season 1 here was. The only time I really didn't find myself enjoying it is there was one episode, it might have even been the OVA, where Kazuma was just kind of a jerk. He was like not even like an entertaining jerk. He was just kind of annoying. So there was one episode that I wasn't so into, but other than that, everything was pretty fine. Honestly, though, as much as I did like it, as much as I did enjoy it, I will say I didn't think it was amazing. I thought it was just kind of alright. It was really, really good, but I think a part of the reason I might just be late to it. I might be late to the series, because this could have, what did it come out, 2016, 2017? If I had watched it then, maybe I would have been a little blown away by it. But watching it here in 2024, I'm just kind of like, it was solid. It was alright. It didn't really blow me away or anything, or maybe I set my expectations too high because of how much it's been hyped up. As far as production quality goes, it was just good. It was good. The opening, to me, this again might be a sin to say, the opening was kind of mid. I wasn't really that into the opening. The ending, though, I really liked. I thought the ending was really good. My favorite character was actually Aqua. She's a bit of a scumbag, but she's my scumbag. And also, I feel like it was really, really funny a lot of the time, and a lot of the plot was dependent on Aqua's shenanigans. Best waifu, I'm gonna say Darkness. I think all the other characters are good too, though, so that's fair, but Darkness was a character that I also was thinking about saying was my favorite. Also very, very good. I also kind of thought about Megumin as a favorite character. But I'll go character Aqua, waifu, darkness, and then best relationship to round out the quartet. Didn't even really plan it this way, but I'm going to say Kazuma and Megumin, because to me, while the other relationships going on within the group and stuff are good, Kazuma and Megumin feel the most like an actual, real friendship. Like Kazuma and Darkness, they have a decent relationship. It's actually not the best among the group. Kazuma and Aqua have a fairly close-ish relationship, but they don't really feel like genuine friends for sure. Whereas Megumin and Kazuma just feel like friends. They just feel like a couple of friends. So I think that their relationship to me was the best in that way. When it comes to giving it a score, is 8 too high? I don't think so. I think 8 is fine. 8 giant walking fortress thingies out of 10. The penultimate series that I want to talk about is Tensei Shitara Slime Datta Ken, or That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Season 2, Part 1. This killed it. They killed it. It's a light novel adaptation by 8-Bit, and they did so well. I reviewed episode by episode the first season, I believe, and yeah, I liked it. I had fun. It was good. Towards the end, I feel like the school stuff with the kids wasn't really as good as the stuff before. I feel like that's a very common thing that I've seen a lot of people say, and I also kind of had that opinion. But this continuation of TenSura, I love it. I love this so much more than Season 1. The civilization building stuff is so good. The slice of life stuff is incredibly great. The character work is even better. Much better than it was before. And the big thing for me, I love when a series is fun. I love when you watch something and you have fun watching it. I had so much fun watching Tensei Shitara Slime Datta Ken Season 2 Part 1. It was so fun. I loved it so much. As far as production goes, the direction is very good. I love some of the unique different things they did. It looks nice. It looks unique. I think that I like the way that the animation for the fights and stuff still looked good while looking different than your typical high budget fight animation looks in modern anime, because I feel like a lot of fights, when it comes to the style of the animation in the past like 5-ish years, a lot of them end up kind of looking the same. But I like that this was different when it was doing its fighting animation. It was different, but it wasn't bad. It still looked good. I loved that. The music and sound also very well done. I think the Megiddo scene, of course, is incredible. So all of that I think was really great. So yeah, good direction, looks nice, looks unique. The voice acting, oh my god, the voice acting was so good. Especially Ranga. Ranga's voice is so fun all the time, but Rigurd's voice is good. Like all of the Rimaru's and the Great Sage, all of their voices are just so good. The ending and opening were also great. Both of them were great. I really have a lot of praise for this. I loved this so much more than Season 1, and I liked Season 1. As far as my favorite characters go, Rimaru's my favorite character from this, or from the series as a whole. Waifu's tough. When we're talking series as a whole, it's so easy for me to say Haruna. Haruna best girl. Easy. I am going to preach the Haruna gospel for forever. But usually when I do this kind of thing, like I've thought about doing like a big favorite waifu from anime ever kind of project before, and when I did, I was like, well, it's kind of unfair. If a series is long running, it shouldn't only get one choice. So I was like, maybe you get one option for every like core, every 12-13 episodes of a series. So this would be my third core of TenSura, and I would easily pick Haruna for the first core. So if she's already chosen, then second core, I'd probably pick Ramaris as second place for me. And so then we get into the third core. If I get to pick a third one, then I would say Shuna. I think Shuna really came into her own more personality-wise here. Even though Shion got a lot more attention here, I think I would go Shuna. And the thing is, while Shion got more attention, while I do love Shion, it just still hurts me so much how much of a downgrade her design went through, because I have been watching. I couldn't hold myself back. I've been trying to wait until I review these before I watch the next season, just so the next season isn't influencing my opinions. But I couldn't hold myself back. I've been watching the OVAs that I missed from Season 1, because I thought I had watched all the OVAs just because I had watched the, Veldora Chronicle thing, and just because I had watched the thing where they introduced Noir or Black or Diablo or whatever. Just because I watched that, I didn't know I had missed a full 5 OVAs. So I watched those. I've been watching TenSura Nikki, which I'm going to review in my next group of reviews. So I with those OVAs, we got the season 1 opening and ending, and the season 1 ending just reminded me, you get that shot of Shion walking with her previous design, and I'm like, her old design was so good. Why did they ruin it? Her old design was so good. And you can say that about so many of the characters. They just became generic anime people, and it's boring. It's so boring compared to their old designs. Like Ranga still stayed as a dog, he just got cooler. Gabiru still stayed as a lizard, he just got cooler. One of the most egregious examples is Soka. Though I love her, she went from being this cool lizard girl, and instead of being like, we could make a hot lizard girl, instead of doing that, they just made her a regular anime girl who doesn't even keep her wings and tail all the time. They kind of just come and go when she summons them or desummons them. So that's the most disappointing one. But man, the design change is just such a downgrade for Shion. So Chuno would be top waifu here. And like, you know, TenSura was one of those series that was brought up a lot when a couple months ago, I think it was, there was this trend going on with a lot of Japanese accounts and creators that I follow, where they were talking about something that I've talked about a lot that I hate when in anime and manga and video games, they'll be like, oh, this is a separate non-human race. And the males of this race are like cool anthropomorphic animal designs, or they're like cool like demon creatures. The males get cool designs, and then they're like, oh, and here's the female of the species, and it's just an anime girl with horns or like cat ears or something. It's just a regular anime girl. She doesn't get a cool design. So people kept bringing up TenSura too, because they're like, there were girls in TenSura with these cool designs, and then they just got demoted to regular anime girls. And Shion is the biggest sufferer of that to me. As far as my favorite relationship, we only got to see the tiniest bit of it. We only got 2 episodes of it. But Rimuru and Diablo, just from like the 1 or 2 episodes, I think was such a funny relationship. So I'm going to say my favorite was Rimuru and Diablo. I just thought that was really fun. But yeah, that's Tensei Shitara Slime Ken. What kind of score would I give this? I'd honestly give this like a 9.5. 9.5 is a little high. I'll give it a 9. 9 goblin wives out of 10. Last up is Uma Musume BNW no Chikai, based on a video game. Kind of. The show ended up coming before the game did, and animated by PA Works. This actually is an OVA to Pretty Derby Season 1 that I didn't watch, but it is 3 full episodes. It has its own full separate story, and it's a really fun story, so I counted it as its own separate thing. And actually, I feel like this took a wider look at the cast of characters, and I don't know if this is good to say, but I might have kind of liked even just 3 episodes of this more than Pretty Derby, as much as I did like Pretty Derby. Pretty Derby, to me, focuses so heavily on Silent Suzuka and Special Week, and that's about it. There are other characters who are around, but even the other characters in Team Spica don't really get to do much of anything in Pretty Derby Season 1, but then this comes along, and it feels like we're jumping around to all of these different characters with all of these different subplots and their own comedy gags, and it's all like really good. I liked all of these little subplots, and that's what I want. That's what I want from Uma Musume. I want more variety. This also sent me down the rabbit hole of seeing a lot of Uma Musume videos where like races from the show were compared to actual horse races, and we're seeing how like how faithful to the material was, and it's like, great, well, I wasn't planning to watch horse racing, but now I definitely can't because I'm gonna get Uma Musume spoilers. So yeah, I thought that the subplots were fun. I want more variety though. I want to jump around to all these different horse girl characters and see them doing different things. I think that's very fun. So I want more of that in the future. Visually, Uma Musume, this, any other Uma Musume, anything I've ever seen, is shockingly good at all times. It's like always very good. So it continued with that. It was really good. It reuses Pretty Derby's opening and ending, but that's not really a problem because Pretty Derby's opening and ending are both really great. And then I guess that's about it other than the character, waifu, and relationship. My favorite character is Gold Chip. pretty obvious, a lot of people's favorite, though I love how much attention that Scarlet got here. I think that Scarlet was very good here. She was another character who in Pretty Derby Season 1, the only thing she really got was the whole rivalry with Vodka stuff, the like bickering, like Zoro Sanji type stuff. That was really all that she got to do in Pretty Derby, but she got to do a lot of character stuff here, and it made me really like Scarlet. But like, Gold Chip's always the best. As far as waifu goes, Narita Taishin, absolutely best horse, would breed. Narita Taishin, easy, just peak horse. So, Taishin's best girl, and there is this sort of thing that's gone around a lot with Uma Musume, where they're like, hey, you know, don't sexualize, don't make lewd fan art of the horse girls, because, you know, if you do that, then it's going to be disrespectful to the horse owners and everything. And I'm just like, if I was some like rich Japanese racehorse owner, I would not think that at all. I would want them to be like, I would be disgusted if they weren't the hottest horse girl. I'd be like, excuse me, if you're putting my horse in your game, you are making her the most attractive. Do you know how much merch could be sold? It's like, no, you are making my horse the most attractive horse. I'm going to be insulted if she isn't best girl. So I would have just totally the opposite reaction. And as far as a relationship goes, I think that it's always easy to say Goldship and McQueen, because Goldship and McQueen are always really, really, really funny. But I really like Spetchen. I really like Special Week in Vodka here, because Special Week in Vodka here, they really didn't get to interact much or have much of a relationship in Pretty Derby Season 1, but they weren't ever really paired together, but they were paired together a lot here for this, and they were really funny together. So I think that they're a good runner-up. But yeah, that's it. I would give it how do you make a horse girl? I would I would give it 7.5 to 8, 7.5-ish, I guess. Horse girl races out of 10. So with that said, that's it. I only have 21 more anime, I think, before I get to start doing 2023 stuff. So hopefully I can do maybe another review next week or something. I've already finished watching 3 more and taken notes on 3 more. So we'll have those. Then I need to finish some stuff up. But hopefully we'll get more pretty soon. In fact, at the end of each video, I can give you a little update on that. Let me go do that. So let's see. What I still need to watch here before I can get into 2023 stuff, I need to finish Blue Reflection, Ray, Bungo Stray Dogs Season 2 and 3, and Dead Apple, and the OVA. The OVA I'm going to wrap into Season 3. D4DJ and its OVA. Golden Kamuy Season 2 in its OVA, Season 3, Grand Blue Fantasy 2 in its OVA, KonoSuba 2 and its OVA, plus the movie. I'll do the movie as its own separate thing. Then I need to do Kyoko Suiri, I need to do Mairi Mashite Iruma-kun 2, gotta do Maogakui no Futeki Gosha, gotta do Mushoku Tensei Part 2 in its OVA, Slime Datteken Part 2, the Slime Datteken movie, TenSura Nikki I need to finish, Uma Musume Pretty Derby Season 2. So I need to do all of those before I can start 2023 stuff. I really need to just, like, I haven't had time to do anything lately. I really need to just take some time, sit down, and watch some anime. The ones that I've already finished and taken notes on, let me go to completed and then sort by my completed date. Also, if you ever want to keep track of what I'm doing in terms of anime watched and stuff, just go to the link down below. I always link my Andy list. So completed ones, I had forgotten that I had never put Tower of God on my list, so I went ahead and added that. But I finished Saihate no Paladin. That'll be the first thing I'll review in my next segment. Then Peach Boy Riverside, and then Tacked Up Destiny. And then I finished the Tensa Shitara Slime Datteken OVAs, but I still need to do Tensura Nikki. I'm going to do Tensura Nikki and the OVAs together as one unit. Since they are kind of just slice of life spin-off for the most part, so they kind of fit together, I'll just do them as one unit. But yeah, I guess that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'll hopefully get more to you maybe next week. We'll see how many anime I can finish. If not, the week after next. Thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of these 7 anime, my thoughts, and all of that. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it is free and open for anyone. If you want to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks, that's very much appreciated. But if you want to help support the channel, and also get One Piece videos early, get your name at the end of every video, you can can join down below to become a channel member, or go to patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you so much to people who are already patrons and channel members. Thank you to Chosen Regular Evan Holly, Magical Girls, FR Nono, Abyss Knight, JA, and the D-Band, Cheriton Students, David Langstaff and Folded Ghoul, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stance Eater, and Pure Element, Pate Ardial. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.